Hello, Intermediate Algebra. We're going to work on Chapter 4, Section 2, Relations and Functions. In this video, we're going to do problems like example number 1 from the textbook, where we're going to show different ways to represent the relations. Previously, in last week's section, we were talking about graphs and how one variable is related to another variable. And sometimes when one variable goes up, one goes down, they both go up together, or maybe when one of them changes, it doesn't affect the other one. So we saw that with the graphing. Now we're going to talk about ways to represent these relations other than what you've already seen. So for this first problem, for this first example, they're referring to an example from the book where they're talking about a track meet. And in this track meet, if you are in first place, you get 5 points. If you come in second, you get 3 points. Third place in your race, you get 2 points. And then fourth place, you get 1 point. That's not how they scored track when I ran track. And I don't know if that's how they score it now. But we're just using this as an example. Maybe somewhere that's what they're doing. I'll try to line this up so you can see it. All right. Now, what you were given, this thing right here with those brackets, and I apologize that it got kind of wrapped around, but what you were given, and I'm going to point this out in the other videos too, we're going to be seeing a lot of these. This is actually called a set of ordered pairs. So you were given a set, and in math, a set means a collection. Okay, so we're just going to collect some things. In this case, we're collecting ordered pairs. And let me write that, and I'll explain. So pairs just mean pairs of numbers. So I've got this paired with that paired with that. Usually a pair means 2, all right? So every parentheses right here kind of groups 2 of these numbers together and say these 2 go together. When we say ordered, that means that the first one, even though that's a 1, the first number has to be this come first, and then the second number comes second. And if I switch them around, it's going to mean something totally different. So if I wrote 5-1 instead of 1-5, that would be something completely different. So I got to be careful with that. So again, a set of ordered pairs just means a collection. These things are called set brackets. There's the left one and there's the right one, even though it kind of wraps around. And then inside each one, I have parentheses that group these numbers together in pairs, where I've got the first number, the second number, first number, second number, first number, second number. Okay? We're going to write this relation as a table, a graph, and a mapping diagram. You've seen tables before. We're talking math tables, not like dinner tables. Sorry, math teacher joke. We already talked about graphs. We'll show what that means. The new one might be mapping diagrams. So that we're going to have to pay real close attention to. So first, to draw the table, it doesn't matter if you draw it horizontally or vertically. I'm going to draw this one horizontally just because of the way I'm recording it. But you can also draw it vertically, which means it would go up or down. Maybe in the next one I'll draw it vertically so you can see what I'm talking about. But which way you draw it doesn't really matter. Start by drawing a line, and then this is going to represent the x values, and this is going to represent the y values. Now, the x is going to be the first one. They're alphabetical. X comes before y. So the x is going to represent the first number in each pair. So my x's are going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. The y values are going to be the second number that's paired up. So 5 is paired up with 1, so 5 is going to go right here next to the 1. 3 is paired up with 2, 2 is paired with 3, and 1 is paired with 5. So from my table, I see that first place gives me 5 points, second place gives me 3 points. Sorry about the phone ringing. Third place gives me 2 points, and fourth place gives me 1 point. Now I use the x and y because we're going to use that a lot, but another thing that you could have done would have been actually labeled these. This could have been the place, and this could have been the points. So you can actually, if we know what the variables stand for, we can actually name them that way. All right, that's it. Simple graph, nothing too hard about it. I'm sorry, table, nothing too hard about it. Let's talk about graphs. So for the graph, we're going to draw it like we did last week. And the first number represents the place, so I'm going to label that. And again, that would be what most of the time we'll just call x. Move that up so you can see it a little bit. The second number is going to be the number of points that you get, and usually we'll just call that y. And I'll put arrows on here to say that that's the direction that the numbers go as they get bigger. Now for the place, I got first place, second place, third place, fourth place, and even though I don't have it, I went ahead and made another mark there. So I'm going to write first place, second place, third place, fourth place, and maybe you would have fifth place. There's nothing tells me how many points you get for fifth place. I would assume you get 0, but we try not to assume. For the points, you can get 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, 4 points, or 5 points. All right, so now we're going to graph it. First place gives me 5 points, so I go 1, first place on the axis, the x-axis for the place, and that's going to give me 5 points. So that's going to be right here. So I go to the right one, and I go up 5. And notice I'm drawing this freehand. I'm not using graph paper. I'm not using a grid. At this point, we're just going to be sketching, okay? I'm trying to be accurate. I'm trying to do a good job. One of the things about graphs is they're meant to be pictures. Well, they are pictures. So you can sketch it, and if you don't like it, consider it a rough draft, and then start over and draw another one. I'm trying to be careful because I'm using a marker, not a pencil. Second place gives 3 points, so I'm going to go over to the 2, and then up to the 3. And my 3 doesn't really look like a 3. There it is. Third place gives 2 points, so I'm going to go over to 3 and up 2. And finally, fourth place gives 1 point, so I go over to fourth place, up 1 point. Now, one thing I want to mention here, do not connect the points. As a review from last week, this is discrete. And discrete means that there's no measurements in between what I have here. So what I'm saying is you can't get first and a half place. You can't be between first place and second place. You only have counting numbers for that case. So I'm not going to draw anything between here because there's no numbers between there. So please, please, please don't always think that you're going to connect them. Sometimes we will, and I'll try to identify why we are connecting the dots at that time. All right, so the last thing we're going to do is what we call a mapping diagram. And mapping diagrams are a little new. I'll tell you what, let me draw it, and then I'll explain what's going on, okay? So I'm going to have all of what are the x values grouped together, kind of in a box, and all the y values grouped together in a box. The only thing is with the mapping diagram is no repeats. I want to write that here. Mapping diagram, which most of the time I just call a map. No repeats. Now that's not going to be a problem for this example because I got 1, 2, 3, 4, nothing repeats, and 5, 3, 2, 1, nothing repeats. And when I say no repeats, I mean nothing in the x repeats and nothing in the y repeats. There's a 3 in both of them, there's a 2 in both of them, and a 1, but only in the x's and only in the y's, okay? So my x's are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to draw kind of a box with rounded corners around it, all right? And my y values are going to be 5, 3, 2, 1. And again, I'm going to draw a box with rounded corners. And I want to clarify this one more time. When I say no repeats, I mean inside each box. There's a 3 here and there's a 3 there. That's okay. But there's only 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4 here, and only 1, 5, 1, 3, 1, 2, and 1, 1 there. And the next example, double check. Yeah, the next example doesn't do it either, but that's okay. We'll see that later. The last part you need with the mapping diagram is you need to have arrows. So you see how 1 is matched up with 5, it's an ordered pair. So I'm going to draw an arrow from here to there, just like that. 2 is matched up with 3. So again, arrow. This tells me 2 goes to 3. 3 goes to 2. And 4 goes to 1. And that is how I draw a mapping diagram. You're going to see more of those later in some of the next videos we're going to have when we start talking about domain and range and whether this relation is a function. But let's do another example. And also, if you're watching these videos, anytime I'm watching a video, please feel free to pause it, rewind it, start over again. After I'm done recording all these, I'm going to go back and take pictures of everything that I write. So if I go a little bit too fast for you, just slow it down, restart it, and do what you can, or go back and look at the pictures on your own time. I know that that's a little stressful. All right, same idea. I got ordered pairs. This is my left bracket, my right bracket. 1 goes with 3, 2 goes with 4, 3 goes with 5. The first numbers, 1, 2, 3, represent the x's, and the second numbers, 3, 4, 5, represent the y values. And this one doesn't have a story with it, like the other problem that involved points for a track meet. So I'm not going to have names for my variables. So my table is just going to have x and y, and I'm going to switch this. So last time I said, oops, upside down, I said I'd draw it horizontally. This time I'm going to draw it vertically, and it doesn't matter which one you choose, they're both good. So I'm going to draw my line going down. This is my x, this is my y, and then my x's are going to be 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to write 1, 2, 3. And my y's are going to be 3, 4, and 5. The 3 goes with the 1, the 4 goes with the 2, and the 5 goes with the 3. And that's all there is to it. So in this case, this one's vertical. To draw the graph, again, I'm going to make my x and y axes. And unlike last time, I don't know what the labels are for my axes. I don't have those. It doesn't tell me that. So this is going to be x, and this is going to be y. Now my x's are going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I only have 1, 2, and 3. And my y's are going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm making my axes big enough to cover whatever's going to happen with this. 1 gives 3, so I go to the right 1, where's my x value, and up 3, and that's right there. 2 gives 4, so I go to the right 2, and up 4, and that one's right there. And 3 gives 5, so I go to the right 3, up 5, and I have my point right there. And again, I don't have the grids. I'm not drawing in the grid lines or anything. I'm just doing the best I can with just blank paper. And that's all that I need to do. Easy peasy. And the last one for the mapping diagram, which I'm going to call the map, I'm going to draw a box with rounded corners around the 1, 2, 3. So I draw 1, 2, 3. I usually write the numbers first and then draw the box around it, just so that I have enough space. And then the other one, the other box is going to have 3, 4, 5. I almost gave away what the name of it is, but I'm going to save that for the next video. I'm going to draw this again with the rounded corners. Kind of made that a little sharper than I need to. And don't forget the arrows. And that's all there is to do for those type of problems. We're going to see more with the mapping diagrams later. It's not the last time we're going to talk about it. And we've already seen a lot with graphs. We already know about that. And tables, I know you've seen a lot with. So hopefully this is stuff you're really, really comfortable with. And in the next video, we're going to talk about what the X and Y actually represents.